Today, we are going to talk about the 5 historical moments in the life of Pope Leo that Christ himself never taught, never practiced, and, if we're being bold, may never have approved of. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Matters in Rome. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more videos. This isn't your average church history. What you're about to uncover may leave you questioning how some papal actions evolved so far from the simple sandals-and-sermons way of Christ. Picture a fisherman in Galilee watching an empire being built in his name, palaces, crowns, armies. Would he recognize any of it? Let's take a deep breath, because the road ahead isn't paved with soft hymns and sweet incense. It's lined with power, politics, and decisions that made history and controversy. Have you ever wondered what Jesus would say if he walked into the Vatican during Pope Leo's reign? Would he nod in approval, or turn over the golden chairs like he once did the money changers' tables? Let's go back in time. Imagine the 5th century. The Roman Empire is falling apart like a cracked chalice. Chaos spreads across Europe, barbarian tribes are at the gates, and people are desperate for a leader, not just political, but spiritual. Into this fire walks Pope Leo I, later known as Leo the Great. Not just a pope, he was a diplomat, a theologian, and a man who would become a symbol of Roman authority in a time when Rome was barely holding on. He wasn't merely defending the faith, he was defending a system. And that's where things take a twist. One of the most iconic moments of Pope Leo's life was when he faced Attila the Hun. Yes, the very scourge of God. Picture this, Attila with his warriors, ready to sack Rome. And here comes Leo, not with soldiers, but with words. Legend says Attila turned back after meeting Leo, stunned by his courage and presence. A miracle, some say. But others wonder, was this diplomacy, divine intervention, or politics dressed as prophecy? Would Christ, who told Peter to put away his sword, have used negotiation to protect the city, or would he have let the kingdom of heaven speak for itself? Now think of this, Leo wasn't just a spiritual father, he was a kingmaker in robes. He declared himself not only leader of the Roman Church but claimed universal authority. That means no bishop, no priest, no Christian leader could contradict him. He believed Peter's authority lived fully in him, and that meant absolute power. But where in the Gospels did Jesus give Peter a throne? Where did he speak of Vatican power? The Jesus who washed feet, did he envision a pope crowned in gold, issuing decrees from an empire center? Let that question sink in. Leo also crafted what would become one of the Church's most powerful theological weapons, his tome. This was a written declaration about Christ's divine and human natures. Yes, it was theologically sound and used in the Council of Chalcedon, but it also became a weapon to silence dissent. Anyone who disagreed was labeled heretic. Period. No room for conversation. Ask yourself, would the Christ who taught in parables and welcomed doubters like Thomas use doctrine to draw lines in the sand, or to invite deeper understanding? Then comes the deeper matter. Pope Leo helped reshape the Mass. Under him, the liturgy began shifting from a community gathering into something more structured, more sacred, but also more exclusive. Vestments, rituals, hierarchical roles. The simplicity of the Last Supper was evolving into a ritualized ceremony with layers of authority and performance. Was that elevation of the Eucharist a holy evolution, or a way to distance the people from the table? Finally, Leo transformed the idea of Rome into the Church. No longer was it just a city, it became the symbol of spiritual and political power. Leo laid the foundation for what would become the Papal States. The Church was no longer just a voice in the wilderness. It owned land, wielded armies, and issued laws. Would Christ, the wandering rabbi with no place to lay his head, recognize his teachings in the halls of papal courts and marble thrones? We don't ask these questions to destroy faith, but to refine it. Faith without truth is like a candle without fire. It may look like light, but it can't pierce darkness. Pope Leo was called the Great, and for good reason. He held the Church together in a time of collapse. But in doing so, he may have built a version of the Church Christ never imagined. So now, it's your turn. What kind of church do you believe Christ died for? A kingdom of men, or a fellowship of hearts? Let the truth sit with you. And when you walk into church next Sunday, ask not just, what did the Pope say? But, What would Christ say about all this? Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please like, share,